Gentlemen, there's one question I get asked over and over again by my patients after the age of 60. Doctor, what should we eat? What should we avoid? And how much should we eat? And to be honest, it's not as simple as it sounds. This question goes far beyond just diet. It directly affects your overall health, your energy levels, and yes, even your sexual health. That's why I've decided to finally answer this question in detail through this video. If you've been struggling with weak or inconsistent erections for months or even years, I want you to pause before blaming your age. Because in my clinical practice, I've worked with men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who have regained strong, reliable erections without relying on prescription pills or invasive procedures. How did they do it? By addressing the root, circulation. More specifically, by revitalizing blood flow to the areas that matter most. And here's what may surprise you. The solution wasn't found in a pharmacy. It was quite literally in their kitchen. That's right. Everyday foods, specifically 4 powerful fruits, can help reopen blocked microvessels in the penis, the very vessels that tend to lose function first as we age. Restoring healthy blood flow to these areas doesn't just improve performance, it improves energy, confidence, connection, and for many men, life begins to feel youthful again. I'm Dr. Samra Tarajlik, a board-certified urologist and specialist in men's health. Over the past decade, I've had the honor of helping thousands of men, from veterans and retirees to grandfathers and professionals, experience renewed vitality. And today, I want to share strategies that have transformed their lives, naturally, safely, and science-backed. Let me emphasize one critical truth before we move forward. In most cases, erectile dysfunction isn't primarily hormonal, it's vascular. And the good news is that blood flow can often be restored through smart, targeted lifestyle changes, starting with the nutrients you put on your plate. The 4 fruits I'm going to introduce aren't exotic or expensive. They're widely accessible and supported by real clinical research. They promote nitric oxide production, reduce vascular inflammation, and help rejuvenate endothelial function, all without side effects, prescriptions, or discomfort. If you're serious about reclaiming your vitality, intimacy, and confidence, stay with me, because I'll walk you through each fruit, what makes it effective, and how you can begin seeing changes, sometimes in under 30 minutes. And before we continue, if you're committed to revitalizing your health and want more practical, science-based guidance designed specifically for men over 60, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. Your journey back to strength starts here. Now let's break down what's really causing changes in your erections and why it's not just age. So let's start with a question. Why erections weaken after 60? Well, many men I speak with are carrying silent shame. They sit across from me, sometimes frustrated, sometimes heartbroken. They say, "Doctor, I just don't feel like a man anymore." And nearly every time, they've been told the same oversimplified story. It's just part of aging. But that's only a half-truth. Yes, our bodies evolve over time, but erectile decline is not inevitable. In fact, science reveals that what commonly disrupts erections in older men is vascular decline, not age itself. Here's what's happening inside your body. Over time, the inner lining of your arteries, called the endothelium, becomes less efficient due to oxidative stress, poor nutrition, and inflammation. The vessels leading to the penis, they're among the narrowest in your entire vascular system. That makes them early warning signs of systemic vascular disease, often years before a heart attack or stroke ever appears. Think of erection quality as your body's way of sending a signal. Blood flow is starting to slip. Without healthy circulation, the tissues of the penis cannot fill with blood effectively or stay engorged. This leads to reduced sensitivity, less firmness, and overall performance issues. But here's the hopeful part. This is a reversible process. When we restore blood flow, in particular microcirculation, we see the return of firmness, energy, and connection. And one of the most powerful ways to improve this flow is through food, specifically plant-based compounds found in certain fruits. Food is not just fuel. In the hands of someone who understands its potential, it's medicine. So number 4 on the list is citrus fruits. Citrus fruits like oranges, grapefruits, lemons, and limes are loaded with hesperidin, a bioflavonoid shown to reduce inflammation, improve vascular tone, and enhance overall circulation. Hesperidin not only supports penile blood flow, but also contributes to blood pressure regulation, metabolic health, and brain clarity, areas closely tied to intimate function. One of my patients, a retired naval engineer, had been squeezing fresh orange juice every morning for years. Without realizing it, he had been supporting his blood vessels at the cellular level every day. Over time, his endurance, clarity of mind, and when he least expected it, his intimacy performance noticeably improved. Simple additions like a lemon wedge in your water, fresh squeezed orange juice, or grapefruit slices at lunch can stack the odds in your favor. Number 3 on the list is black grapes. Black grapes are rich in resveratrol, a potent polyphenol demonstrated in research to improve endothelial function, balance testosterone levels, and fight oxidative stress, one of the silent assassins of male health. I've seen patients with declining mood, energy, and libido respond well after consistently eating just a handful of black grapes a day. One of them, Howard, a soft-spoken 73-year-old, noticed his sense of joy return. He reported better sleep, more emotional warmth with his wife, and, yes, improvements in the bedroom. You can enjoy black grapes fresh, frozen, or tossed into salads. Consistency is key, about 1 cup daily. Now for the final fruit, often overlooked but one of the most artery-cleansing foods available. Number 2, watermelon. Watermelon isn't just for picnics. It contains a compound called L-citrulline, an amino acid that your body converts into L-arginine, which then enhances nitric oxide synthesis, leading to improved vasodilation. Unlike synthetic supplements, watermelon provides this compound in a natural matrix with hydrating fluids, electrolytes, and antioxidants, making it easy for your body to absorb and use efficiently. One study published in Urology found that L-citrulline supplementation helped improve erection hardness in men with mild ED, and watermelon offers this in its most natural form. I recall a retired police officer in his 70s who started eating a bowl of watermelon in the evenings. Within weeks, he reported not only better intimacy, but improved energy, deeper sleep, and reduced blood pressure readings. Try incorporating this fruit into your routine a few evenings per week. Fresh, in a smoothie, or even slightly chilled post-exercise. Now, let's move to a fruit that may surprise you for its testosterone-enhancing potential. And on the top of the list comes pomegranate, a vascular powerhouse backed by clinical evidence. Let me tell you about George, one of my longtime patients. He was 68, newly divorced, and just beginning to date again. He came into my office clearly frustrated. Everything in his life was going well, except his ability to perform. He wanted natural options, nothing synthetic. And I introduced him to something simple but potent, pure pomegranate juice. Here's why it works. Pomegranate is rich in punicalagin, a powerful antioxidant shown in clinical studies to help boost nitric oxide levels and reduce arterial plaque. Nitric oxide is critical. It relaxes and dilates blood vessels, increasing blood flow where it's needed. In a double-blind clinical study published in the International Journal of Impotence Research, men who consumed pomegranate juice daily reported improvements in erection quality and overall satisfaction, without medication or side effects. It also supports prostate health, cardiovascular protection, and reduces systemic inflammation, a trifecta of benefits for men over 60. George began drinking just a small glass after lunch. Within weeks, his confidence and his performance returned. You can enjoy pomegranate as juice, fresh seeds called arils, or added to a morning smoothie. Now, fruits are generally very healthy, especially because of their fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. Not all fruits are ideal for men over 50, particularly those dealing with metabolic issues, diabetes, insulin resistance, or prostate health concerns. These are the fruits that you should avoid. Number 1, canned fruits in syrup. These are often soaked in heavy sugary syrup, which significantly raises the glycemic load and contributes to blood sugar spikes, weight gain, and insulin resistance. Second, fruit juices. Despite advertising, most fruit juices, even 100% juice, lack fiber and are high in fructose, which is linked to fatty liver, metabolic syndrome, and increased uric acid levels. For men, this may also raise cardiovascular risks and lead to erectile dysfunction over time. Third, ripe bananas. As bananas ripen, their starch turns into fast-digesting sugar, making them higher glycemic. Overripe bananas can quickly spike blood sugar. And lastly, tropical fruits. Fruits like pineapple, mango, and papaya are delicious and contain key enzymes, but they're also high in fructose, which can contribute to insulin resistance and fat storage, especially around the abdomen. If you're overweight, diabetic, or have low testosterone, you should limit how often you eat these. Okay, so while these fruits are extremely potent, true healing doesn't occur in isolation. It's part of a holistic approach to circulation and vitality. Daily movement, such as a 20-minute walk, helps stimulate blood flow and reduce stiffness in the arteries. 2 short walks a day, one after breakfast, another post-dinner, can significantly impact vascular performance. Hydration is also essential. Blood is mostly water, and the more hydrated you are, the easier it circulates. Aim for at least 6 to 8 glasses a day, starting first thing in the morning. Sleep is when hormones like testosterone are restored and vascular repair occurs. Poor sleep sabotages everything we've discussed. If you snore or feel exhausted during the day, it's worth getting evaluated for sleep apnea. Watch out for processed meats, fried foods, and alcohol overconsumption. These erode endothelial health. What you avoid is just as important as what you consume. Before we close, I want to speak to you directly, not as your physician, but as someone who has walked alongside many men on this road. If you've been feeling like your drive, intimacy, or masculinity has faded, I want you to know this: it's not the end. You are not broken, and you're certainly not alone. Vascular decline is a medical issue, not a moral failure, and it can be addressed. Your body still holds the capacity to change, to adapt, and in many cases, to heal. But it starts with hope, followed by action. Fruits like pomegranate, watermelon, black grapes, and citrus are not just tasty, they're therapeutic. Paired with habits like walking, sleeping, and proper hydration, they can reignite not just performance, but the spark inside that makes you feel fully alive again. I've seen men reclaim their energy, their confidence, their relationships, not from magic pills, but from a return to wholeness through nature and science. So if you're ready, start today. Start small. 1 glass of juice, 1 walk around the block, 1 good night's sleep. The ripple effects can be life-changing. And if something in this message spoke to you, pass it on. Share it with someone else who needs to hear this. Subscribe for more real, reliable health advice designed for the man you are and the man you're becoming. Because it's never too late to feel strong again.